Okay, Motorola has just launched a laptop. Now Motorola is stepping into a new category apart from TWS, tablets and smartphones. Now whenever a smartphone company launches a laptop, the only thing that comes to my mind is this the budget MacBook killer? See, Apple is the only company that makes laptops, tablets and smartphones. And in the Windows world, the only player we have is Samsung. Now I know, there was Xiaomi and Realme, but both of them seem to have given up on laptop segment. So can Motorola give you that perfect ecosystem because they also have this tablet? Yes, a full-blown ecosystem play. So we'll talk about the tablet in the later part of the video. I'll leave timestamps for that. Now on paper, the Moto laptop sounds pretty solid. You get good performance, an OLED display, and a bunch of other features all around the 60,000 mark. But there are some catches that you should know before buying this. Now stick around till the end because we'll be breaking it down. Prateek, TechVisor, let's freaking go. Now before we get to the color of the laptop, the box is a usual laptop box. You get all the stuff inside, like you get the laptop, obviously, a 65-watt Type-C charger and some paperwork, usual stuff. But what's not usual is the laptop. Like there are two things that you will immediately noticed with this thing. First is the design, like especially the color. We have the blue color, Motorola calls this Pantone Wedgwood, and also there's a bold bronze green variant. The colors are made by Pantone and I personally dig the other color, and a lot of these colors honestly reminds me about Motorola smartphones from last year. Very close. Now in terms of build quality, it's quite impressive. You get an all metal chassis and it feels solid and premium to hold. And once again, I know this sounds cringe, but it's also military grade certified, so you can drop it. I won't. It scares me. But you know, if the laptop is in your bag and you just throw it around casually on the sofa, it will survive through all of those bad behavior. Now it has the same MacBook 14-inch form factor, rounded edges. It's giving the MacBook vibes without the MacBook price, of course. Even the build is solid, the keyboard and screen flex is minimal, it's like almost non-existent. Now speaking of the keyboard, it's backlit and you also get auto mode. So as soon as the light goes off at night, the keyboard automatically lights up. Now there are 3 adjustable brightness presets, so you can change accordingly. Now there's also this camera housing on top which has the 1080p webcam, and this is how the video and audio quality is. But here's an interesting thing. It has an IR sensor here, so it is Windows Hello compatible. So you can use face recognition to unlock the laptop. Moreover, after all of this metal, the laptop is super handy and it weighs in just like 1.39 or 1.4 kg. In fact, it's also pretty slim, around 16.9 mm. And this is a solid, well-built laptop. Like you can lift the lid with just one finger, which shows that the hinge is of good quality and it gives that nice premium touch. And guess what? Even though it's thin, it doesn't compromise on ports. You get 2 USB-A ports, a micro SD card slot. The power button is on the side, and on the other side you have an HDMI port, 2 USB-C ports, one of which is Thunderbolt, and a 3.5 mm headphone jack. And second is the display. It comes with this beautiful 120Hz OLED screen with 500 nits of peak brightness and HDR support. It's proper 100% DCI P3. So for movies or creative work, it's a pretty good display. For example, right now I'm watching Dragon on Netflix, and the colors, the contrast, the sharpness, everything just pops. Now, if you're someone who uses computer glasses or you know your eyes are sensitive to a flickering screen, flickering happens in low light in OLED displays. So this has low blue light emission and it is flicker free. Now, if I compare this with the MacBook Air side by side, which has an LCD display, you can see that the picture looks brighter and the blacks are deeper on the MotoBook 60. Plus, the MacBook has a 60Hz display because only pros need 120Hz. We are normal people. Anyways, due to 120Hz, scrolling and browsing on MotoBook 60 feels much smoother. But there's one thing I did notice. If you're watching something with dark scenes, you will start to notice reflections on the screen. And if you sit beside a window or if there is a bright light behind you, the reflections are pretty evident on the screen. Now, before we get to the ecosystem features, which is very interesting, let's talk about the performance. This comes with an Intel Core 5 210 processor with 45 watt of TGP. Now, the variant that we have is 16GB DDR5 and has 512GB NVMe storage. Now, as you can see, if you open up the lid, both the RAM and storage are expandable, and there's a story to this, but you can expand the RAM up to 32GB and you can upgrade the storage up to 1TB. So this Core 5 210H CPU has 8 cores, 4 performance and 4 efficiency cores with a maximum speed of 4.8 GHz. Now, Intel used to have a different naming scheme for their processors. It's i3, i5, i7, i9, but now everything is changed. It's either Core series or Core Ultra series. There's no i5, no 12th gen, 13th gen, 14th gen, no 450. Now it's simply called Core 3, Core 5, Core 7. So the MotoBook 60 has Core 5 210H, which means it's Series 2. Now here's the difference between Core and Core Ultra processor. Now leaving all the NPU thing aside, Core 5 is based on an Intel 10 nanometer process. That's why you have upgradable RAM. Now this is an H series CPU, so it's more optimized for performance. So to test that, we ran Cinebench R23. It scored around 6900 in multi-core and slightly more than 1700 in single core. And in Geekbench, it scored around 2500 in single core. Now the benchmarks are decent for the price, but the real question is, how does it perform in day-to-day tasks or in real world? Where in normal use, just like browsing the web, watching YouTube and all of that, there's no problem at all. But let's make this test interesting. See, I'll perform 3 different tasks to test the capacity of this laptop. Now the first is multitasking. So I have a 4K video playing on one window, Google Docs on another, and WhatsApp on the third window. It can easily manage this. There's no lag whatsoever. This basic task. I can even type in Docs or WhatsApp and the 4K video is still playing fine. Second is if you do a bit of graphic work like making thumbnails and all of that, see, I'll drag this PSD onto Photoshop and all the layers, opening, closing goes well. Now this is a heavy task. We'll try to add something from a filter gallery and it's manageable. There's no lag or as such. And third is gaming. We played some game on this. Now we had to reduce the graphics to 1080p and at lower settings, now you get close to 60, 63 playable FPS. Now we played for 15-20 minutes, half an hour. And if you see the GPU utilization is close to 100% and you're getting playable frame rates. So if you play FPS games just for fun, you can see it is playable on the Core 5. Now of course, you can't play graphic heavy games since this doesn't have a dedicated GPU. But if you're looking mostly for productivity, it has got you sorted. In fact, you also get Microsoft Office Home and Student 2024 for free. Now so far it looked like a very solid deal, but battery life is something that is average. Like in my usage, which includes doing regular stuff like watching videos, writing script, listening to music, it lasted for around 5 hours or more on a single charge. Now you might have noticed these grills right here. Yep, the laptop comes with front firing speakers that support Dolby Atmos, and honestly nothing makes me more excited than grills on the front, because let's face it, most Windows laptops don't really have good sound quality. They usually have down firing speakers, and when you place them on a flat surface, the audio gets blocked or muffled. So front firing speakers sounded like a game changer, but it isn't that loud. And you can fix that loudness to some extent. If you go to the Dolby app and change the sound profile to dynamic, it does get quite loud, but it lacks that bass, like oomph. Like if you're watching a movie or a show with a fan running nearby, you might actually miss out on dialogues. Now, ecosystem. Here's where things get really interesting. If you own a Motorola smartphone, you're getting a full ecosystem experience. Motorola has an app called Smart Connect and it unlocks a bunch of useful cross-device features. You get Smart Clipboard, which lets you copy from laptop and paste on your phone. You can swipe like this to stream the app directly on the laptop. But these are the other features. Here's what I used quite a lot. For example, there's cross control, which lets you use a laptop's keyboard and mouse to control your phone. You can also mirror your phone screen directly onto your laptop, but it gets better. You can even use a Motorola phone in a desktop-like mode. This is similar to Samsung Desk. Now Motorola takes it a step further by bringing in a tablet. So just like your phone, you can pair the tablet using the Smart Connect app and you can turn the tablet into a secondary display or even mirror your laptop screen onto the tablet. Now the good thing with the ecosystem here is the Moto Tab can still wirelessly stream at 60 Hz. Now there are some features that are present on both the tablet and Motorola phones like Share Hub, Smart Clipboard, and even use either of them as a webcam with your laptop. And since we are already talking about the tablet, let me quickly walk you through some of its feature too. Like I found 3 really interesting things about it. First, obviously, is the design. Now we have this in the bronze green color and the build is also quite good. Like the tablet weighs in about 620 grams, 622, like slim at 6.9 mm and it's all metal build, and you can even expand the storage up to 1 TB via micro SD card slot. Now you can attach the stylus like this on the back and it's pretty good magnet, and the stylus can also charge via Type-C cable. You also get a 3-pin connector at the bottom for connecting additional accessories like cases, keyboard, etc. The stylus also attaches here as well because hey, magnets. And it comes with a beautiful 12.7-inch 3K display. It also has 400 nits of peak brightness. Now this is an IPS LCD display, but the display is pretty good and adequately bright enough for media consumption indoors. Like, do you use tablet outdoors? It also has quad speakers that supports Dolby Atmos and it's pretty loud. Now third is the performance. It runs on MediaTek Dimensity 8300. This has 256GB storage, which is UFS 4.0. And there's also a 128GB variant, which is UFS 3.1. And it scores somewhere around 1.3 million on AnTuTu, which is similar to what you get around this price range. Now in day-to-day usage, it goes without saying it is pretty smooth. And even while multitasking like opening apps in split screen and multi-window, there is no lag whatsoever. So primarily if you're doing media consumption or social media usage, very smooth. In BGMI, you can even play at 90 FPS. Now, in terms of battery, it has a huge 10,200 mAh battery, and in our testing, while playing games, watching movies, etc., it easily lasted for me more than 1.5 days. And it takes around 2 hours to fully charge it to 100%. And you also get this Moto Pen Pro, which is pressure sensitive. It has about 4096 pressure points and tilt sensitivity, great for sketching and note taking. Like, see, if I use it like this, it has palm rejection. You can also use the pen to take screenshots and then annotate it, magnify sections, and even control presentation using the button on the stylus. Apart from that, you also get some handy AI features like Google Gemini that can help summarize articles and all of that stuff. So instead of Hello UI, it runs in Lenovo's ZUI, which is based on Android 14. It will receive 2 more OS updates in the future. You do get some useful software features like PC mode, so you can connect a keyboard and a mouse, and the UI works like a proper laptop. You can even resize the windows. You also get this video call assistant, which enhances the subject by adding background blur, virtual background while on a video call. But in our testing, this feature was not working, as you can see. Now, for those who are wondering that since this is a new laptop company, where will you service or get spare parts? Well, the same Motorola mobile smartphone service centers will serve the laptop customers. Now, the MotoBook 60 starts at 61,000, including bank offers and discount, and the MotoPad 60 Pro starts at 27,000. And it's clear, Motorola is aiming for more than smartphones now. This is like a proper ecosystem move. The first time they're making laptop, and this feels like a solid first attempt. I like the laptop and especially the tablet, Motorola Tab 60 Pro, which surprised us with that high quality display, smooth performance, and a genuinely useful pen. But as I said, what's good to see is the ecosystem. In the Windows world, Samsung is pretty much the only brand that tries to compete with Apple when it comes to ecosystem features. Now Motorola is joining that race, and for a first step, it's actually a pretty good one. So the question is, should you buy it? Well, if you have a Motorola smartphone, I think the Tab will be a good addition to that. And if you're looking for a productivity laptop under budget and you have a Motorola phone, this thing or this entire combo might surprise you. On that note, this is signing off. See you in the next video. Pew, pew, pew.